Hey everyone, Matt J. Doyle here with Tap Interviews and Team Easyway. I'm here with my amazing, outstanding guest, Sarah Lee. Hi Sarah, welcome to the show.
Woo! Thank you, Matt. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So please tell us a little bit about Sarah Lee and what you do.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an author, best-selling author. Just wrote a book called The Success Formula, or My Success Formula, based off Napoleon Hill. I'm a business owner. I own a financial services firm, and I teach financial literacy, and I have a coaching practice called Coach Me Academy.
Sounds awesome. So tell us a little bit more about the Coach Me Academy.
Coach Me Academy was started primarily because about 20 some years ago, when I started my financial services practice, people used to come to me and I would give them business advice because I would want to help them grow their business, because then they were able to put more money in their accounts. And as a result of that process, people started asking me for advice, business advice, separate from my financial services practice. And then I basically started a brand, a coaching brand. And now I sell courses there. I host courses. I host other people's courses. I have Coach Me interviews, Coach Me media. So, just different things.
Okay, great. So I want to just show the audience one of your websites. It's called How Money Works. Is that tied into the Coach Me Academy? Or?
Yeah, so How Money Works is my primary. I'm a financial literacy coach and a financial advisor. So How Money Works is primarily what I do, teach people about their own money.
Okay, great. Let's have a look at that website. Just bear with me while I share the screen.
Sure.
And that is that one. That's your website.
That's my personal website. Yep.
Yeah, let me just go to the right one.
If people want to see me on there, they can go to Sarah Lee MBA, like maryboyapple.net, if they want to find me on that site.
Okay, great. And then this one's the financial, or How Money Works.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about this particular website.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting thing. So I was part of a project about 15 years ago that started teaching financial literacy to people, realizing that financial literacy, for the most part, is one of the biggest problems all over the world. There's about 75% of people that are considered, all over the world, considered not financially literate. So 75% is most people. And what that really means, for all intents and purposes, is that how do you actually handle your money if you don't really know where to put it, if you don't know how to grow it safely, if you don't know how to take care of it, if you don't know how to manage debt, if you don't understand the math formulas, simple math formulas that we can use to actually communicate and put a framework around money. Money isn't something that's going away in your life, by the way. It's kind of like diets are very popular because we have to eat, right? And money is one of those things that I feel like it's not going anywhere because you have to have money. You have to do something with your money.
Yeah. So what advice could you give to somebody, we're in COVID right now, they're at home, they're low on money, they may have lost their jobs. What advice can you give to those people to come back and start earning some money from home?
Well, there's a lot of different things. I mean, one thing, and a lot of people are talking about this, is finding what people are calling a side hustle, right? Which I'm not a fan of that term, but but everyone seems to know what that means, right? Meaning if you have a primary income, which a lot of people don't have a primary income because we have quite a few people that are unemployed. Think about a third of the country right now. But if you don't have or do have a primary income, a side hustle is basically usually something that's you work as an independent contractor and you're able to make some money on the side or learn that career so you can transition into it. So, and one of the things that we offer, which is kind of interesting, is we offer people a way to actually learn about their own finances, but also to have that side hustle with us. Meaning I take on Coach Me classes, trainers. I also take on How Money Works trainers, and I teach them about their own finances first, and then teach them how to teach other people.
Okay, great. So how do you teach them about their own finances? What is some advice you would give to them?
First thing I would say is figure out your budget. And I hate the word budget, by the way. I like the word spending plan. I don't like the word budget because it sounds punitive. It reminds me of the word diet, right? Nobody wants to be on a diet. Nobody wants to be on a budget. If you have the idea in your head of a spending plan, how am I going to spend my money? It's more empowering. And first thing you want to do if you're putting together a spending plan is figure out what the inflows are and the outflows. So what money do you have coming in consistently? Write it down on a piece of paper, write it down on a spreadsheet. What money do you have going out? And when you look at what money is going out, you want to look at it in two ways. You want to look at it as what are things I have to pay, right? Your fixed expenses, and what are your variable expenses? What are things that I like to do? Like I like to go out for a drink, or I like to go for a lunch. And you want to separate those into categories. As soon as you do that, if you go back and look at your finances for 3 or 4 months, you'll actually start to see patterns, and you'll start to see where you might be able to possibly cut down on something.
Yeah, cutting down is important if you spend overspending and spending more than what you're actually making, right?
Right, absolutely. And the thing is, like I said about the side hustle, when people are short on money and we teach them what to do with their own money, and then we teach them how to do this for other people, we pay them to do that. So that's what I meant about the side hustle, because it's a way to get yourself righted back up. So you not only empower yourself, but you empower other people.
So you give them a side hustle option that they could take on?
Yeah. When somebody meets with me, if I look at their budget and I look at their spending plan and I say, hey, look, we discuss it and they're a little short, I ask them, would you like to learn how to do what I do? Or do you think you could do what I do? Meaning, do you think it's simple enough if I take them through a simple process that you could show someone else this process and use these tools?
Sounds awesome. And can they find out more about that at that How Money Works? Or?
Yes, they can go to howmoneyworks.com/SFL, like Sarah FL, like F as in Frank, right? So Sam, Frank, Larry. And you should be able to find me there, or you can find me on my Facebook page, which you should be able to try to find Coach Me Sarah Lee, and you should be able to find me there as well.
Okay, great. Let's talk a little bit about your Instagram page. Let me just share that with the audience, and then we'll let them see that. And
by the way, one thing while you're doing that, Matt, is I also help people with their expenses, which sounds funny, but sometimes I can look at their expenses, and I actually have partners where I can refer business, like on a home loan, on a like homeowners insurance, car insurance, professional liability insurance, things like that. So I can actually lower their expenses, just as a heads up, and get them wholesale rates, which sometimes that's the only place people can save.
Great. So here is your Instagram page, Coach Me Academy, and we see more again about money and other pictures.
Yep. So
people can follow you there on Instagram, and if they follow you, they will find out more from there as well.
Absolutely. And my website is on that one as well.
Your website, which is the business consultant website.
The How Money Works SFL is on Academy. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your personal website. Let me just share that screen with the audience. And there it is there. There. Sarah Lee, MBA, business consultant and advisor. And
yep.
welcome to my site. It has home, about, blog, and then contact as well.
Doesn't look like that part.
That didn't work too well. But you might need to take a look at that. But that's your personal website, and that is sarahleemba.net, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'll come back to the broadcast. So, Sarah, what have you been doing during COVID to keep your operation running smoothly?
So it's really interesting. A few years ago, had the idea, like a lot of people, and I felt really fortunate that I figured this out a few years ago, that I needed to transition some of my business online. So a few years ago, I started experimenting with how to do that. And luckily, I started that whole process before COVID hit, because now it seems like everybody needs to know to do that. And it's a big process if you haven't been through it. I don't want to intimidate anyone, but there's a lot of pieces to building a sales funnel. So one of my new courses that I'm studying out is a sales funnel course on Coach Me Academy on just how to build and how to think about transitioning your business online. So when you said, what have I been doing? I published a book. I published my success formula. I also I'm marketing that book, I'm marketing my courses, and I'm basically marketing my services online. So transitioning myself to be a funnel builder. So that word funnel, right? A sales funnel, which basically is when you see those annoying Facebook ads, I'm one of those people that's putting together Facebook ads, and then I'm moving that traffic basically through a system.
Awesome. So you published a book. What is the book called, Sarah?
My Success Formula. It's on Amazon right now in pre-launch. And
Okay.
I wrote it with a few other people who all are experienced business owners. I think a few of them actually might be part of the Easy Way family. And it's a host of stories and ideas about success. So it's a precursor, in my case, to a book called The ABCs of Success, which is another book that I'm writing that should be out before the end of the year. And in my case, it's just basically one of my talks. So it's one of my public talks about success, how you think of success. And the primary idea is that we want to reframe when things are very stressful, like right now, things are very stressful for a lot of people, and people get down on themselves, they get frustrated and concerned. And the reality is the rules of mindset are the same right now as they would be in a time that you don't feel as stressed. Meaning, even if you don't really feel like being upbeat, the more upbeat you can be, the more it's easy to take in information that might be able to help you. And you're going to be more open to it. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but we have a reticular activating device in our brains, which when we tell it what to look for, it will go look for that. So we program ourselves what to think, what to believe. And so in my case, that's also one of the things that I teach in my coaching practice is how to kind of reorient yourself when you are under stress, how to get yourself in a better mood, how to get yourself focused on business and moving forward. So, and that involves several different things. It could involve meditation, it could involve hypnotherapy, it could involve jumping up and down to a Tony Robbins, event. But that all helps with your hormones. And if your hormones get trained, that you start to control your mindset, you control your attitude, and you control your body, you start to train yourself, it's much easier to get through stressful situations. When people are struggling, nobody wants to work with a struggling person. Nobody wants to work with an unhappy person. And people can feel your energy even through the internet, even through this medium right now. You can tell, am I a positive person or not a positive person, right? And that's the important part, is that you project and radiate your energy and how you feel inside. So learning to control that energy, learning to control that mindset is part of the success formula. And reframing your situation sometimes is an important part of that, which the book, by the way, starts out with a little girl who has seen a buffalo, and a buffalo basically laid down in the middle of the street when she's going on a zoo outing with her family. And everyone's like waiting for half hour, 45 minutes. When is this buffalo going to move? And the little girl comes out and says, when do I get to ride the buffalo? And so that was how I started the book, right? Was sometimes it's how we look at the issue. Everyone else saw that as an impediment. And the little girl, which we all have a little girl or a little boy inside of us, said, hey, when do I get to have fun? Right? Even sitting in this car, even in the situation, I can have fun. And so that's what I mean about reframing, is sometimes we need to look at the situation differently so that we can find the positive in it and move past it and move forward with it.
Sounds awesome. So the book is called My Success Formula.
Yes. And I have a Facebook page for that too, if you want to look for it. It's My Success Formula - author Sarah Lee.
Okay, so they can just go to the internet to find that, or?
They can go to that page on Facebook, and there's a link to purchase the book. It's $2.99 on Kindle right now, and it'll be on other places. We have about 39,000 publishers actually that are distributing it. I mean, it'll be in 39,000 locations, but right now it's just in pre-launch and it's just on Kindle.
That's a very reasonable price. Did you say $2.99?
$2.99, yeah. So for $2.99, you can get a whole bunch of ideas. Also, if you know Unstoppable Tracy Schmidt, if you've heard of her, she's in the book. Lori McNeil is in the book. Robert Moore is in the book. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but there are several other people and they're all contributors. So we all have something, I think, important to say. And the book was written during COVID, so it's all positive, how you get yourself out of your own way kind of ideas.
Wow, it sounds amazing. And they can get that from Amazon.com.
Correct.
and download it to their Kindle and watch it on their Kindle.
Yep. They can read
Awesome.
it on their Kindle. Yep.
Yeah. So that's fantastic. So what else has been happening with Sarah Lee?
So this is going to sound funny, but this will be sort of a free tip, right? Is that when people are marketing, one of the things that we've been working on, right, is I've worked on my own marketing, but a little free tip for you is a lot of times now people don't know how to introduce themselves. And so one of the courses that I'm just about to launch is a course on how to approach people, strangers on the internet or strangers online. So primarily it's a course on how to approach someone in a proven way on LinkedIn in a professional manner. And it involves basically a whole process that everybody can follow. It's a 5-class process. It's very easy. It's going to be a low price because of COVID, like $49. I recommend for people that need a restart. That's a great idea. Another thing, by the way, is your hook. You need a hook when you talk to someone. What do I do? And an easy format for a hook is I help, and then 2 groups that you help. Would it make sense to meet? Right? I help, right, entrepreneurs get their message out by doing interviews on Roku and on iTunes. Would it make sense to meet? Right? So, I help entrepreneurs get into the Easy Way family and be with other winning entrepreneurs. Would it make sense to meet, or would it make sense to link in? So that's
Absolutely.
a very easy way to approach people. I mean, that's a little tidbit of the class, but a lot of times people struggle with that because they think, oh, I have to have this big pitch or this big elevator pitch. How do I define myself? And if you just figure out the 2 or 3 people that you help primarily and say that, it's a lot easier than all this stuff we want to say when we're nervous, right?
Exactly. So do you have a message to the world right now in the situation that we're currently in?
So this is funny. My big audacious goal, right? Because I think everybody needs to have a big audacious goal. I'm sorry for stuttering a little bit, but everyone needs to have this big goal that drives them. Because one of the things that I think has happened for a lot of people during COVID is people are concerned, they're afraid, and they're getting very internal. They're forgetting that there's people that are in worse situations in the world. So to have a vision, to find your purpose and find your why, it's an important part of actually getting yourself to move and get out of that. And so one of the things that I have as my big goal, right, is to help with world hunger and water supply. Sounds kind of crazy because people say, well, how could you help with that? You're just one person. But through that purpose, I have figured out and found people that were on the same mission. And as a group, we have started to make progress on this. One of my friends who I learned or met along the way, she is a food distributor. And she and I were sitting down pre-COVID, and we were sitting down in a cafe, we're talking, having a drink, and she said, I think I figured it out. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, I think I figured out the math behind how we can actually cure world hunger. Now, keep in mind, she has about 5 million businesses in her system, meaning she already has the ability to help cure world hunger because she has 5,000 or 5 million businesses that participate in her system. So this was a big deal that she said this, right? And I was like, what do you mean? And we went through the whole thing. The point is, I'm actively involved in trying to pursue that. Now, keep in mind, because I teach about poverty and mindset and money and whatnot, that just by curing hunger, you're not going to cure poverty. Because those 2 issues are not related, or they seem related, but they're not. But if people aren't hungry and they have all their basic needs covered, right? Their basic needs are important, right? We need shelter, safety, food, water, these are basic needs. They have their basic needs covered. Now we can start to work on slightly higher needs. Like, could they start a business? Like, let's pretend they were in Africa. Could they get a microloan? Could they then get a goat? Could they make goat cheese? Could they then, get a yak and make sweaters? I mean, you get the point, is that people, if we cover the basic need of just making sure they're not hungry, then we can start working on microfinance, micro lending, that kind of stuff. And to me, that's really important, because I don't think you should just pursue your own goals. I don't think that if you're just pursuing your own goals, you're going to be very impactful or very powerful, because what really empowers everyone is working together and finding a way to enroll people into your vision. And so if it's a big issue, something that impacts a lot of people, you have a much better chance of enrolling people in that than you do if you're just like, hey, I just want to make money. Hey, I just need 3 leads a month to like pay my bills. And that's the trap, right? People are getting into that trap right now because they're concerned about themselves, and I get that, but we still have to remember, look outside of yourself, getting groups. Another free tip, by the way, which I think is a great tip, is there's tons of coaches right now, prominent coaches that are giving away free challenges for $7, $10 that you can join in for a 3-day or 5-day, even 7 days. And sometimes just being around other people and being in that energy gets people back on track. Right. And so even when you don't have money to kind of fix your problem, quote unquote, right now, there's still people that are reaching out saying, I understand these concepts of impacting people. And here you go. Here's my course at a discounted price, or here's my course, for a free weekend. And I think that's important because most people at this point need to retool themselves. They can't just stay the same. Like, I was happy that I started that process of moving to the internet, because now I have almost a complete program that I've set up, and where I have hosting and I have quizzes and I have everything. And I'll have a launch probably in the next month or so on that. But the point is, it took me some time. Like, it probably took me 3 or 4 years to think about how to put my whole package together so it was accessible online, as opposed to coming to me in person, coming to a seminar, coming to an in-person class in San Francisco where I live, and meeting me in person, or meeting me in Los Angeles where I often work, a few times a month. So now, without traveling, I'm able to deliver the same content, and in some ways maybe even better, because I'm not as scattered. I'm able to be way more focused right now on when I have a course, I have live sessions like this, answering questions, and then I'm able to get with my group and say, hey, what are you really having a problem with? Let's get through that. There are tons of resources, by the way. There's free programs that you can engage in, programs like Canva that you can use for marketing. I mean, we kind of go through all these different things, but that's important right now, is to figure out, how do you get people's attention? How do you put movable logos together? How do you put movable things on Facebook if you have something to advertise? I mean, now, because that's all we're doing, we're kind of stuck doing that. So like I said, I'm very grateful that I had that idea prior to, else I would probably be lost myself. I'd be sitting here saying, I don't know how to transition. And keep in mind, I didn't discuss this much, but I do events with other coaches, and I've been everything from a speaker, a producer. I've sold tickets in the back of the rooms, upsold people's programs, sold other people's programs, done affiliate work. So, I mean, I've seen every part of coaching, influencing. I've worked with Robert Kiyosaki on stage and doing his events, worked with Tony Robbins, not on stage, but producing a 15,000 person event for him. Done that multiple times. I have been a Firewalk crew member. So when people walk on fire, I've helped them go through that challenge. Like I said, you name it, Success Resources is a big part of my life. And they are the agent for people like Brendan Burkhardt, Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki. So that's how I got into that, if you didn't know, because people say, how'd you get into all those big names? And you know so many of them. It's because I was serving other people at Success Resources events, and then people notice that and they see who you are. So that's another tip that I also tell people, by the way, in this time when you're feeling really nervous and you go to an event and you're like, there's 3 or 4 people at this event, no one's watching the Zoom, and should I even give it my all? Should I really introduce myself and really take it seriously? And my answer is yes. And the reason why is that I probably don't look it, but I'm old enough to know that we've been through many of these before. I was in the 2000 crash when as a financial advisor. I was in the 08 crash. And I can tell you that everything that's good is when you sit there and say, here's my 5 people. And I really got to know these 5 people really well because we hung on to each other during this time. And then as things grow and things get bigger, you say, oh, I remember that person. They were great during the time when people weren't great, when people were hiding, or they were being difficult, or they were afraid to speak, or they were afraid to take action. And so I can tell you, if you get the chance to be in a small group with people and make friends, get in that group and hang on to those people, because you'll remember that later as the economy gets better, and those will be your tribe, right? That'll be your team. So those are some of my messages for today. I hope that helps somebody out here.
Yes, well, it's been an awesome live broadcast. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I just want to quickly thank our sponsors, easywaymobile.com, EasywayLiveEvents.com, EasywayWall.com, and EasywayNetwork.com. EasywayWall.com, you can get a free profile to connect with celebrities and influential people. Once again, Sarah, thank you very much for coming on the show. People can go to your website. They can go to How Money Works. They can go to your Facebook pages, Instagram pages. We've showed them all those today, and they can contact you through there. Congratulations on the book publication. I hope it does really well. And thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Eric, for hosting us.
Yes, thanks, Eric Zuley and Team Easyway. And,
yes.
This has been Tap Interviews, live interview with Sarah Lee. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next broadcast. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Take care.